Test 1 2. meet your fate. Don't worry. I will return for you soon enough.
Oh, crap. The microphone wasn't on. I was having a long conversation about the Halloween kit and a lot of things. So, hey, good morning, afternoon, or evening, my fellow flight simmers. Friday, another community fly-in. We're going from Oslo to Stockholm. I've spawned. Somebody spawned right on top of me. Oh, the weight. Oh, somebody even heavier. It feels like we're being dogpiled. Oh. Oh. Feel like I'm 13 again at a weekend party. Oh, off of me. Ah. Just saw somebody's face from the inside. If you would like to participate, you're going to have to hurry now. You're going to have to hurry. Get into the description. Check out the information. If you don't want a link of it or whatever from there, just go to the forums and go to their community events or official events, and you'll find today's fly-in and all the information you need. Basically, in a nutshell, though, you want to be on the Southeast Asian server. Don't know why. You want to be in a plane that'll do 140 knots. They recommend this one, the SR-22. The DA, the Diamond, blah, blah, blah. And the other blah, blah, blah. They recommend that you have multiplayer set to on in your data. You need to also, in the flight conditions, set multiplayer to all. You might want to turn on under traffic, like nameplates, so you can see people's names, so you find your friends. You know, speaking of, I haven't looked around today to see if Rent-A-Cow's out there. I don't know if he's flying today. Yeah. Not as many people as last week at all. Last week was busy, 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 busy. I forgot to turn on Bush Talk audio. So this thing usually triggers, it's been acting up lately and triggering weird random things that aren't near us. We launched the website. The only thing near us, I'm going to turn down environment and sound. We will not be able to hear our engines. We will not be able to hear the audio lady if she pipes in. We've got one something near us, but I'm not sure what it is yet. Give me a moment. Even this close, there's just so much noise. Let's get back into the cockpit. Oh, the airport we're at? Dang you, stop it.
Norwegian Armed Forces Aircraft Collection is a military aviation museum located at Gardermoen, north of Oslo in Viken County, Norway. The founding of the Norwegian Aviation Historical Society in 1967 gave the first boost to the idea of preserving aircraft in Norway. The collection's Heinkel He-111 and Northrop N3 petabytes are among the aircraft traced, recovered and restored at the instigation of the NAS. From the latter part of the 1970s onwards, A considerable number of historical aircraft were assembled in an old ex-Luftwaffe hangar at Gardermoen, and from the mid-1980s the public were admitted to the hangar during summer. Most of the activities were, and still are, based on voluntary effort. The establishment of the Norwegian Aviation Museum in Bodø in 1992 created an intense debate in the country, especially since it was the original intention to transfer all objects at Gardermoen to Bodø. After some years a compromise was found, and in 1997 funds were allocated for a new building at Gardermoen to house a military aviation museum. The new building was inaugurated in May 2000. From the 1st of January 2015 the collection is part of the Norwegian Air Force Museum/Armed Forces Museums.
And that's just not too far from where we are. It seems like it's located right against this airport. Fritzelflink. Fritzelflink. Yeah, that's his name. Rumpelzuck and Fritzelflink. Code nuts. Code nuts. What, if you get too close, their names actually disappear. So yesterday, if you tuned into the live stream in the afternoon that I did, or I attempted to do, the Stanley Hotel, and everything fell apart. Yeah, I was so depressed how that turned out. I put it to private. I'm like, I'm just going to delete this episode. Everything just went bad. So for the rest of the afternoon and during dinner, I thought, man, that was so bad that I just want to do it again. So I got back in there and did some troubleshooting and found out that sure enough, I was wrong about the F-35. It does not like DirectX 12. And the last machine that I was on couldn't do DX12. So I overlooked the fact that it's on, and I have forgotten that it doesn't like DX12, and that was causing it to fail on everything. It's autopilot. Not to say that it still isn't buggy as all get up. So once I got that resolved, I got in there and started mucking about and making sure that is everything working properly. And I did almost a full flight all the way from Colorado Springs to Estes Park, and then I crashed when I got to Estes Park. So, but either way, it actually did it. So I was confident. Okay, all right, I'll redo the live stream from yesterday. Just take it from the top, start all over again, and then as soon as I start the live stream, the plane starts freaking out. Every time I load in, all the screens are like reset. Everything's like only half the screens are loading. So, wow, just feels like you're being cosmically punked. So then I had to restart the simulator. And then everything was back to working fine again. Then the autopilot again, a little bit of bits here and there, but it stayed on track, and I was able to read all my stuff about the Stanley Hotel. Most people know it because of the Shining. And now everybody, pardon me. Now people, tourists go there because they believe it's haunted. I think the story of how the Stanley was created, the person behind it, the people behind it, the history that caused rich people to end up being there and doing what they did and where they came from, way more exciting than just, oh, it's the hotel that The Shining was based on. It wasn't filmed there. I don't believe they had a maze. I think they've added one since just to boost up tourism. They never had, I don't believe they ever had a boiler explosion. They were installing a gas generator when they were making a transition. They were the first hotel in the United States with electricity. So, but they had to have gas lights and everything for a while. And it was a gas explosion. It wasn't a Stanley boiler explosion. So Stanley made all of his money. I want, you know, that's what normally they say. Stanley made all his millions before creating the hotel from his Stanley Steamer automobiles. They were still developing the internal combustion, which really wouldn't take off for another 24 years. So basically, Stanley Steamers cornered the market for 30 years or more before finally, being taken over by gasoline. But they had actually made their money from other sources before that. They were already rich before that. They started out really poor. And their family has a really strange history of having lots of kids and then sending those kids to live with other people to raise them. And then they give their kids really weird names like Isaac Newton Stanley, Ulysses S. Grant Stanley, and they name their kids after historic figures. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. But they seem to be like they were amazing people. So I did not know that Stanley was a twin. His twin patented the airbrush. Together, they patented a revolutionary dry processing technique. Basically, I'm not really sure on the history of photography, but it's mostly a wet processing. You know, you go to the dark room, you run it through some liquid here, some liquid there, some liquid there. But magic, right? Well, I guess they created the first, or one of the first dry processes. And they sold it to Kodak Eastman. They were buddies with Eastman. Eastman was one of their customers. Eastman was buying cars. So yeah, they sold all that to Kodak. Then they got into the car business. And then they were entrepreneurial at an even younger age. They were making money from maple syrup sales when they were growing up. So talk about industrious. So later, Mr. Stanley finds out he had tuberculosis like Doc Holliday did, and they recommended, I can't believe they're starting so late. But it seems like they're going to get going now. Where are we at? 14 minutes after the hour. This guy, he might know something. But nobody else is moving yet. So people from my part of the town, Colorado Springs, they were involved in trying to purchase the Stanley Car Company or license technologies and make a gas model. And by the way, lots of people from my area ended up knowing them. Here we go. Do. Phenomena. Do. Hey, you. I'm flying here. Feels short.
Norwegian Armed Forces
We already heard this.
is a military aviation museum
You may just be tuning in late.
north of Oslo in Viken County, Norway. The founding of the Norwegian Aviation Historical Society in 1967 gave the first boost to the idea of preserving aircraft in Norway. The collection's Heinkel He-111 and Northrop N3 petabytes are among the aircraft traced, recovered and restored at the instigation of the NAS. From the latter part of the 1970s onwards, a considerable number of historical aircraft were assembled in an old ex-Luftwaffe hangar at Gardermoen, and from the mid-1980s the public were admitted to the hangar during summer. Most of the activities were, and still are, based on voluntary effort. The establishment of the Norwegian Aviation Museum in Bodø in 1992 created an intense debate in the country, especially since it was the original intention to transfer all objects at Gardermoen to Bodø. After some years a compromise was found, and in 1997
What the heck?
were allocated
What the heck? What the heck? What the heck? What the heck? What the heck?
to house a military
What the heck? What the heck?
The new building was inaugurated in
What the heck? What the heck? What the heck?
1st of January.
Holy moly.
The collection is part of the Norwegian
I turned on the leveler and it flipped the plane over.
museums.
Oh my goodness gracious. I had set the autopilot. Oh well. You know, stuff happens. Oh, I hope she doesn't play that one again. That was nuts. The leveler. That's all I recall clicking right there. Dun 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 dun. Okay, no gear to get up, so let's check the flaps. Okay, maintain our climb. Do our turn. Get online. Clark Human. Sure you are, Clark. Sure you are. Wink, wink. I know you, Superman. Let's try this again. Get the nose down a little bit. Turn the leveler out. Bike flyer. That's interesting. The you know, we all know the Wright brothers were they owned a bicycle shop. It's funny how bicycles became planes. But that's how Stanley started. He had a bicycle for his wife and he wanted her to get into bicycling. And she fell off one and she swore she'd never get on another bicycle. And so he said, well, I'm going to create a bicycle that we can both ride. And it ended up being powered. Okay, let's try this. Autopilot, nav. That's hopeful. Okay. Now I'm going to leave us altitude holding right here. I don't want to get up too high. Then we miss all the glory. And it's supposed to be 140 knots. We're at 150, so we have a little catching up to do, so I'll just leave it right there. It's not a big deal if you separate from the pack. I mean, you know, not a race. All right, folks, put your feet up, get the popcorn. It's a smoking and drinking flight. No seatbelts if you don't want them. It's up to you what you want to do. But put on some music because they won't let me play any. And I can't play any of the actual live stream hosts because they play music, which YouTube flags as copyright infringement. And enjoy the flight. There's 2 airports I think we're going to be stopping at to do, well, it's just doing touch and goes. And it's going to be about a 2-hour flight. So again, kick back, relax, and enjoy the community flying. If you need a subscriber and you're trying to build up your subscribers, you're a new channel, then count me among your friends. Just say hi in the chat room. If you say hi in the chat room, I get 3 dots next to your name, and I can click go to channel immediately and then hit subscribe. I don't know you exist unless you say hello. You don't have to subscribe back. I don't care. But that would be nice. But it's not required. Some people also say, don't you dare come into my live stream, my chat room, and post links to your stuff. I'll get upset. I don't really care about any of that either. I mean, nothing offensive or anything, but if you're going to be doing a live stream tonight, after this one, that I'd like to know about it. So please, feel free. If you're going to be posting a video, doing a live stream, anything, then post it in the chat room and let everybody know. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I've been at this seriously since FSX, so let's just start with X-Plane 11. So I started getting serious around FSX and then the Steam version of FSX. But I had done Flight and other Microsoft before that, but I just couldn't get my head around a lot of things. And then when, before 2020 came out, really cracked down, trying to learn as much as I could, getting out there on YouTube, watching every dang flight instruction video I could, and then running to the simulator and try to practice everything. So, and I'm not real world, I'm just a simming fan, flight sim fan. But I've tried to learn a lot. And I might be able to help you answer your questions if you're new and maybe intimidated and afraid to talk to any of the, you know, the high muckety mucks. I titled all the first things that I did noob flights. Right now I'm Skydude because I've graduated from noob flights. I'm not an entire noob anymore. I didn't just start. So years and years and years of messing around with flight simulators. So graduated past noob flights, but it was my way of saying, hey, I'm a noob, you know. And if you're having trouble learning from some of these guys, they make it a little more complex than it needs to be, and I'm going to try to talk to you like noob to noob. And those early training videos that I did, I got a lot of compliments saying, hey man, you really explain it in a down-to-earth way that I can understand. That's great. That's great. I've got a folder that exists in my channel somewhere, and it's all the Dovetail training lessons. Like, what is that? Dovetail are the developers. I think they do like Fishing World and Train Sim World. And I don't know why they're not still partners with Microsoft Flight Simulator right now. But they had the license to release the Steam version of Flight Simulator X. And then they were working for Microsoft with the Flight Simulator engine license, and they created Flight Sim World and Flight School, two separate products. And that's what we were going to get. We were not going to get Microsoft Flight Simulator. We were going to get Dovetail's Flight School and Flight Sim World. And they're both beautiful, and I think you'll really be impressed by the level of training. In a lot of ways, they're way better than what Osobo offered. What they created and the way they modeled planes and their lights and everything, in a lot of ways, better than Microsoft Flight Simulator. But I don't know what happened. Microsoft, because they were working for Microsoft, Microsoft pulled the license and refused to let them to continue selling their products. They're no longer available. They had to yank it off the worldwide market. But if you own it, if you bought it or were gifted it, then it's still available in your Steam library. Anyway, I recorded as much as I could. I still have it. So I recorded the tutorials and the like the check ride tests and some of the missions. And I think you'd be blown away. Blown away. And this was, I don't know what, 2 years or more before Flight Simulator 2020 was announced. That's why I think you'll be impressed, as you look at their achievement, and that was then. I don't know why Microsoft just didn't let them leave it out there. I mean, if they were getting money from the license, then, you know, we don't want a competitor. People are going to do what they're going to do. Let them own both of them. Since I restarted, I had to reset my drone. Somebody's coming up on us. There you are. Nice. Future pilot. We've been talking about that a lot this week. The future pilots. How are they going to ensure that they have enough pilots moving forward? They're terrified that they're not going to in the next 20 years. And then the developer stream they did the other day where they were featuring their new partners. They featured a group of 3 aircraft that are VTOL, and one's going to become a taxi, or 2 of them are going to become a taxi service out in California soon. And they have super simplified controls like the F-35. And so they're bringing advanced flying controls and vertical takeoff and landing to general aviation. And I think, speaking of the Stanley Steamer earlier, that if you don't change, you're going to go obsolete. And I can't imagine Cessna or anybody else that creates planes is going to want to go obsolete. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Stanley and these rich guys, after a while, they don't care anymore. They don't care. They'll turn it over to somebody else to manage it, and then if it sells, it sells. They just have so much money, they don't care. So some of them may end up dying, but basically right at the moment, what I'm kind of getting towards is that everything up to this point right now is obsolete. Just like with computers, these new aircraft that are coming out are so precise and so simple on top of it that it's going to make training so much easier moving forward. I mean, now, okay, well, now you want to fly old aircraft like this? Well, sure, now you're going to have to know all the other things. You're still going to have to know an awful lot because, you know, stuff goes wrong. And your survivability in a super simplified aircraft still comes down to what you know when things go wrong. So while grandma might be able to take you across town like a pimp in a vehicle next week or cross country with 15 minutes worth of training, if something goes wrong, grandma can't save you. If she presses the emergency Garmin auto landing system, which they're now putting in planes, and for whatever reason it fails, or something has happened where the Garmin emergency autopilot landing system can't function, she can't save you. It's the flying knowledge you have after all that, after that. So, although things might be changing and all of your knowledge is still going to be, if you're going into real world flying, so valuable. So what makes you think you can work for us, air taxi service, using these VTOLs? Sir, I've been flying at least simulators for, 13, 20 years. I will save your investment if something goes wrong. I can guarantee you that. If not, I'm going down with the ship too, Captain. So there's going to be a lot future kids are going to have to know, but not nearly what you have to know right now. Not even. Basically just kind of like recovery techniques. How do you glide a plane down? All the things that you have to learn first. How to glide down, how to spot a runway, how to deal with the stall, how to, all that. If you didn't know we were in Sweden, would you know that we were in Sweden? Some places in the world are so unique, and other places in the world you don't know if you're just outside of Ohio or anywhere else. You people that live here, you seem like some of the grooviest people on the planet. We've been doing a lot of going to lakes in my state, in my live streams, looking for good camping and fishing. And I've got my camp out utility now. And so this looks nice. This looks very nice. Look at these people that live right down there. They've got it made. They got, what, 2 houses, 3 houses on this side and a couple over there. And they got that all that lake to themselves. This guy over here, not a neighbor in sight. Well, that guy down the road a ways. That could just be his front door. That posh individual that owns all that. Found myself recently watching people that play Farming Simulator. Man, they're really good about making you want to get in there and go try Farming Simulator. They've got like every piece of equipment. Now I know how they see us, people in the flight sim community. They've got every plane, and they've got this, and they've got that. Well, they've got every tractor, they've got every haul, they've got everything. And now you think, man, now I want to start with 20 acres somewhere. I want to find a place on a lake and do what these people are doing. Any place right over here, that's prime. Make a little bit of money on the trees you clear, and oh yeah, we're on. It's on. Those people even got me hooked watching them play Motel Simulator. Hilarious. Like, it's hilarious. It's great. Great stuff. If you're just tuning in, pardon me, I can't play the actual live stream, and we can't listen to all the amazing hosts over there at Microsoft because despite asking them over and over again, they insist on having music in the background. And I get, but there's so many of them talking that there's no real need to have a bed music running. And all that does is it prevents us from also live streaming and tuning in and listening and enjoying the hosts of our community. He's like, what? You don't want us to play music? That is correct. Unless you use music that is, you know, your Microsoft. Go talk to YouTube. Create music, get music that is okay with YouTube. Look at how busy Jorge is talking to everybody in the world, and they won't take a couple of days to go talk to YouTube and work something out for these community fly-ins. It's too much work. But, and then they don't use Restream. But that's probably the reason why. Is the copyright violations, copyright ID stuff that pops up all the time. So I've tried to in the past, but it's just not worth it. YouTube is touchy about everything. If you do something wrong, we're thinking about deleting your account. Wow. I may not be a big channel, but I have been around since before Google bought YouTube. I was one of the early adopters, and I remember telling people that are huge, you got to try this YouTube stuff. And you remember, oh man, just another app. I'm so sick. Every other day, I got to load a new app, and you know, And I remember people telling me about that, telling me that about YouTube. And they didn't want to go join YouTube. And now everything that you would get demonetized for in the past, anything you did to or try to hack the algorithm, or hey, do what I do, copy me, create 3 accounts and use 2 of your accounts to promote your account. I mean, all that stuff would have got you just immediately demonetized. And now it's everybody's doing it. Everybody's creating these endless how to make lots of money on YouTube videos, and they're just repeating the same thing, and everybody's clicking it, and they're just laughing their asses off to the bank. It used to be, hey, you know, we're going to create a level playing field, and everybody's got to find things naturally. People got to come in, they got to search for you, they got to, you know, we got to keep it even. And now it's just like, have you tried this trick? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? And it's all, you know, scamming in some way. And it's really unfortunate. We did not disconnect from Bush Talk Radio, but there's just been no points of interest that have popped up. So this thing is, we travel around. If we travel within like a mile of any of these points, it gives us a audio tour. But this route that we've flown, we've just skirted by all of them so far. But this is where we're at in the world. There's Stockholm. Trying to find other haunted locations to do. Did Stanley yesterday, the Stanley Hotel. And I don't think it's haunted at all. At all, at all, at all. Although, learning what I learned about the Stanley family and history yesterday, I can't dismiss outright any possible other Illuminati stuff, because they're too rich. They're so rich, and they're so wealthy, and they're so among the elite that are establishing these territories across the United States. You know, we don't know what these people do. We know that since the invention of the internet, we've all become aware of a lot of activities that things that wealthy people get up to, or celebrities get up to. And there's just, you know, such a dark side to humanity. And there's no denying that stuff has happened. It's still going on today. I mean, look at all the scandals that are currently out there revolving around rich, wealthy people being freaky and creepy in large numbers. All these aircraft are lagging us out a little bit today. I'm getting some stuttering. All the moving objects eat up the frames. Yeah, we're down to 32 frames. Plus, I don't understand why they do us on this Southeast Asian server, the lag, the response time is ridiculous. So, I was looking at the Winchester house, but that's not modeled well at all, which sucks because it's such a unique conglomeration of structures. And then I went to Waverly Sanitarium, and that's not really modeled that well. And today I was going to try to go look at the Conjuring house because that's in the news a lot right now. And I'm not saying that place is haunted either. I don't know that I believe in the Warrens either. And I want to, because they seemed like such good people with good hearts. But there's, you know, P.T. Barnum. I'm sure he was a good person with a good heart. You know, the Warrens approved Amityville. They were at Amityville, if I'm not mistaken. And they claimed that Amityville was, or they bought into it. Okay, it's now been proven that the family was tied to the mobs and the lawyers and their friends. It's a long story. But it's absolutely been proven that lawyers and their friends over lunches had a humongous laugh just making up all this crazy haunted story crap. And they put it out there, and everybody ran with it. And so the Warrens show up, and they give credibility to that, and everybody believes the Amityville house and the stories behind the Amityville house, all the movies and blah, 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 blah. None of it's true at all. Same with the Winds. We're moving on somebody, or somebody's moving on us. Same with the Winchester house. So they said Sarah Winchester was an unusual woman for her time because she was a professional. They said she was an amazing business person, and she had great intellect, and she was very into architecture. And she used her wealth on one of her estates to encourage learning about different design styles. And I think that's where all the rooms and stuff started coming from, is she was inviting people in to build things and try building a Rococo, try building a Renaissance. She had one tower built like 16 times. Build it, just take it down. I don't like it. Build it, try this style, take it down. So I think that was more like a workshop. I think we're supposed to do a touch and go here. Turn off the autopilot. All right. What do we have going on here? A fuel imbalance, huh? Well, I'll be darned. Man, I'm sure this is mining and quarry and everything else, but all I can think about is people with dirt bikes. Man. I think I'm going to try to slow us down rapidly. There we go. Put the nose up, pitch up. Get us in the flap range. Oh. Take out a flap. I don't want to lose a flap. Try that again. Nose up, flap. See if we can get on the edge of a stall. There we go. We're slow now. Just riding that stall. Slow down. I used to be so afraid of landing. If I wasn't 10 miles out and the right height and the right, you know, speed and everything, I would lose my mind, and then I would usually crash, and I developed a hang up on landing, and I got so frustrated with myself thinking I'm never going to learn how to fly. I can't just do a landing. We don't have gear, so. And this is just a touch and go. Okay, flaps back up. The best way to climb on this beastie is, but she's got engines. Let's get back on course. My coordinated turns have a lot to be desired. Leave a lot to be desired. There we go. Look at that fuel imbalance going on. All right. Trim the thing up a little bit. Bit of a wind pushing us. Correct for that. Okay, let's just put it back in the autopilot. And nav. And I'm going to do an alt hold here. Yeah. Alt's on, GPS on, yaw damper on, autopilot on. All right, back on course. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Just tuning in. This is the Microsoft Community Fly-In done every Friday. And I'm happy I have the time the last couple of weeks to join in on it. We're doing Oslo to Stockholm. Wacky backy. Or wakey bakey. Was it waxy? I can't tell if that's a K or an X. And check our speed. Our fuel. I see. Wasn't this supposed to be in the middle? No, it's either one or the other. Why would they do that? All right, well, we're that's why we're tipping. Wasn't the wind at all. So we'll take from the right tank now. It's unusual. It's got an oxygen system. Nice. One of the nice things about Bush Talk Radio, and I can't use it when I'm doing live streaming the way I would like to. Did I lose my page? Yeah, I did. I'll bring it back up here. Is it actually has radio. It is one of the coolest things ever. But again, they can't do it on the live stream because it causes copyright issues. You know, that's... But it allows you to listen to whatever radio stations it can find in your area. I'll do like 5 seconds. I'm still gonna probably get a flag, but tried finding something, didn't latch onto anything. Radio Freakstalin. Nope, didn't want to tune in. They're actually saving my bacon today by not tuning in. But it's been great listening to radio from around the world. Especially around here. As always, your music is fantastic. They'll play a couple of tunes that are Western or, you know, like American. And then they'll play some of theirs. It's like, whoa, whoa, wow. People are kicking our butts. Himlin.
Äger Hammarby. Sen har Hammarby första kvarten 20 riktigt dåligt.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Absolutely. Right.
Mycket bättre i andra halvlek. Framförallt på offensiv planhalva.
Preach it.
Lika mycket felpassningar, utan nu sitter bollarna. Hammarby får börja från egen stolpe. Då blir det långt till mål.
Yeah. Yeah.
Och mästarna har plockat sin första 2-poängare den här säsongen, alltså 6.
Oh, what do you know? Oh, blow it out your...
Tack så länge till Per Karl och
come on.
expert som härmed har gjort sin debut för
Not buying any of that.
Claesson. Spel har vi fortfarande i Vetlanda.
How did you get a job on this station?
Det är 7-5 för hemmalaget.
Yeah, listen to this guy.
Topplag i elitserien Vetlanda ser ut att gå mot 2.
Oh, such a good point.
Ganska på förhand väntade poäng, även om Broberg har gjort en bitvis alldeles briljant och fenomenal insats på bortaplan i Småland, så är det en viss skillnad ändå mellan de här båda lagen. Det finns en bredd och en helhet och fler spelare som är aktiva och deltar på ett kreativt sätt hos hemmalaget än vad det gör hos Hälsingegänget Broberg. Visserligen 3,5 minut som återstår och matchstraffet på hemmalaget. Emil Nordström för en kvart sedan gör ju att det finns gott om tid och mycket utrymme här.
Pito heat required.
De måste nog ha den där reduceringen ganska snart för att göra match av detta. Daniel Jonsson, veteranen hos Broberg, lägger ut bollen. Det är jättebra spelat. Nu kommer de in i straffområdet. Väl samlat hemmagäng. Ser bollen sen landa på en Vetlanda-klubba och så kommer långa spelet mot Joakim Karlström. 2 mål av anfallaren hos Vetlanda.
Oh crap.
Och den rinner långt ner till höger.
It was supposed to do outhold.
Det är 2 minuter 45 sekunder kvar. Allt talar för att 1360 åskådare får en alldeles ljuvlig fredagkväll med viktiga poäng för favoriterna. Med en inledande seger då i premiärbandyn. Just nu ledning 7 mål mot 5 över Broberg.
Och det är alldeles strax slut i Edsbyn. Edsbyn har 10-2 mot
I got it there.
Det är heller riktigt slut mellan Gripen, Trollhättan och Sirius. Sirius leder med 4-2. Och vad har vi kvar då? Jo, vi har ju Åby, Tjureda 6-1 mot Ljusdal. Hur går det för Truls?
Truls hade precis innan vi fick ett reklamavbrott på vår skärm.
All right. Yeah. So there is a real radio component to Bush Talk Radio, aside from the audio tours. And you can make your own. There's so many places in the world that don't have audio tours set up for them. And all you got to do is cut and paste wiki or whatever, type stuff in. And it's got that beautiful AI lady's voice that does all the talking. And we don't, like here, there's been no audio tours along this point, along this route so far. So if you live around here, man, you mean you could dominate. So yeah, you just create them and submit them. And then they show up. What I'm talking about, let me do one that's passed already. on, you. What? Why are you giving me fits now? All player off. Let's do that. See if we get one now. Here we go.
Idefjord is a classic fjord with a narrow watercourse and steep natural formations on both sides. It runs along the Norwegian-Swedish border from the single fjord. The Idefjord separates the province of Bohuslän in the county of Västra Götaland in Sweden from the municipality of Halden in the county of Østfold in Norway. It opens to the Skeiurog via the Svinesund and Vela archipelago, a cluster of classic skerries. The outermost stretch is called the Ringdalsfjord, but from the point where it makes a sharp bend and further south, it is called the Idefjord. Like several other fjords, it was named after a part of its coast, in this case the parish of Id. The Norwegian fortress of Fredriksen in Halden rises over the Idefjord, and Halden's river Tista has its mouth in the Idefjord. The Idefjord was one of several important geological features that enabled Fredriksen Fortress to successfully repel Swedish invasions in 1716, 1718, and 1814.
Yeah, like that. Can't tell if they're all doing touch and goes up ahead. I think so. I'm not real certain. Let's see. No, there's nothing there. I are hallucinating. Hello, Henning. How are you? Howdy, howdy, howdy. All right. Just making sure we're getting down and gonna have enough power when we get down to our desired altitude. So we're doing Oslo to Stockholm today. And then later in the day, I need to find a good haunted location to go find. The Winchester House, I was talking about that before we're doing our touch and go. The Winchester House is another one. I was talking about Sarah Winchester. So, very smart woman, owned a lot of different properties. And the myth is that, so after she died, there was nothing in her life that indicated she was into the spiritualists at all. They said that is entirely made up. Even the tour guides say that they're forced to say what they have to say and they can't stand it. So I already mentioned that she was really big into design and architecture. And so she led a lot of the architectural projects on her property. She was, and that was unusual for a woman to lead those projects, but that's where her brain was at. And she had all kinds of other interests, but none of them were, worrying about spirits. Said she was sharp as a tack. So after she dies and it ends up getting, starts falling into disrepair, there was an earthquake in San Francisco, 1911, I think, or whatever, which just did a lot of damage to the place. Then it fell into disrepair. So somebody who was a Disney Knott's Berry Farm theme park person, they bought it. And that is when they introduced, to get everybody excited about it, this notion that all the ghosts were mad at her because her husband created the repeating rifle. So many souls were killed because her husband created the repeating rifle that she had to build all these rooms so the spirits couldn't find her, and all this crazy stuff. So one tour guide reported she can't stand it when people hear these stories and they're like, man, that woman was crazy. And she's like, it's so sad because if she were a ghost and hearing this, she would be just so sad. So the way people felt about it at the time and the way she felt about it and everything else up through time. Look, technology happens. A repeating rifle, I mean, it was, somebody was bound to do it. And so it's just a matter of survival. So, you know, that's just the way history goes. Anyway, they ended up putting a Remington Arms Weapons Museum at the Winchester Hotel. And they renovated it, and they've got, you know, so it's got rooms going no place. And but again, a lot of that they said happened because of the like the earthquakes and stuff. So they would just, you know, okay, we'll just seal that off and move this, and you know, so you've got rooms that go staircases that go nowhere, and hallways that go nowhere, and you know, but you got to look at everything as a whole. So no, the Winchester Mystery House. It was the Disney person that came up with that idea too. Call it the Mystery House. And because of the way Amityville has proven to be the biggest con job in horror, and now the Stanley Hotel, that's not haunted at all. Maybe, you know, guests maybe that have passed away there, but does it have a shady past? Probably not. But I was going on earlier about like Illuminati stuff. I mean, you just don't know. It gets too weird sometimes. But I'm starting to believe that the Conjuring House is, you know, another one of these. It's total crap. And as much as I want to like Ed and Lorraine, whatever, Warren, you know, they signed off on Amityville, and that's your reputation right there. Done. So I really can't believe anything. You're uploading a video right now. Great. Great, great, great. They do the touch and goes here? Nope. I see people turning, going that way. I know there was a turn, but I don't see anything on the route at the moment. We are here in the world. Örebro. Fugesta. That sounds like something from New York. Hey, Fugesta. So these people are buzzing the locals. That guy in the airliner down there trying to do a touch and go on somebody's farm. Or just flying really, really low. You're scaring the locals. Eventually that's going to be in our digital twin. I don't know how many years or decades it'll take for it to happen, but sooner or later, we're going to have AI running around in our digital twin, and when you do stuff like that, they're going to be running around the ground, throwing up their arms, freaking out. Ah! They're dive bombing us. Fast. Yeah, I knew we had a turn coming up. Feels like it. Yeah, a little bit of a bend there. It's okay. When your video posts, if it's anytime soon, and you get a link, please post your link in the chat room. I'm assuming this is your latest flying activities. Possibly your acrobatic, some of your acrobatic stuff. But if not, it doesn't really matter. Just, if you do, please post your link. $500 feet, AGL minimum. So it has been a pretty nice turnout today. I don't think this is the largest turnout I've ever seen, but this ain't shabby, and they're all over the place. Some people are, you can't see them, or they're too far away, or I don't have real world traffic on, so this is just multiplayer, folks. Looks like such a nice town. Man, am I going that fast? It's like I'm 160. Yeah, we're supposed to be doing like 140. I feel like I'm leading things. Not for sure. There it goes. Locking in 2.5. Okay. Our fuel imbalance is almost dealt with. Serve a little fuel. All right, about 125 knots. We'll slow down. Pulled the mixture out a little bit. Cleaned up a little bit. bum, bum. I think I could love to live here. Well, they have one food that I particularly find that I do enjoy an awful lot, and that's herring. So I guess they have a huge herring fishing industry. And I think that would suit me just fine. Just fine. Maybe I was a Viking in a past life. There's certain foods you come across and you're like, wow, where have you been my whole life? Tasty little fish. Personally, I can't stand flying over bodies of water without floats. Why anybody in this world would want to get on an international flight in a tube that's going to go over thousands of miles worth of water, and if the thing comes down, there's no way it can float. Or, you know, the bottoms of airliners that are doing oceanic flight, that they don't have a bottom shaped to allow them, if they have to land on the water, to just come down and freaking land. So I was watching somebody put up some footage last night of an old hostage situation where some Middle Easterners had taken over a plane and they forced the pilot to go to Australia, and he kept telling them we don't have enough fuel, and he had to put it down in the ocean, and you just watch this thing rip itself to pieces. Why in the world would you create aircraft that are traveling over oceans that don't look more like spruce goose on the bottom? Well, because the blah, 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 blah. Like Titanic. Why didn't you have enough boats for everybody? Because the blah, 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 blah. You say, pardon me. That one kind of bit me. I can tell you that these little airplanes float for like a couple of minutes, so in this plane you're all good. And then you also have the parachute in the Cirrus. This thing has a parachute, huh? Very nice. Gonzalo O'Hara. It's got like a little rocket that shoots out a parachute when you're in an emergency situation. I'll be darned. That's interesting. It's like the Icon is supposed to have one, but it, you know, of course, it's not modeled in the simulator. All right, so let's speed up a little bit. Where are we at? 1:35. No, actually, we're good. Please excuse me for one moment while I get up from my desk to go refresh my coffee. If there's anything I can get you, then let me know. All right, disregard that. I'll be right back. All right, I have returned, my fellow simulator pilot friends. So thanks for tuning in today. Try to join us sometimes. These are open to everybody of all skill levels, and you just show up and fly with everybody. They do these a lot in the real world. Ouch. The pilot community, it's got to be nice. Like the RV community. Like the biker community. Considering how long history has been around, there must have been some amazing, amazing things that have taken place here, but we don't have anybody populating this area of the world with any histories or points of interest. We've got two coming up here in front of us. First one's going to be on this little island here.
Hovgarden is an archaeological site on the Lake Mälaren island of Adelso in Ekerö municipality in central eastern Sweden. During the Viking Age, the center of the prospering Mälaren Valley,
I'm talking about.
Founded in the mid-8th century and abandoned in the late 10th century and located on the island Björkö just south of Adelso. Hovgarden is believed to have been the site from which kings and chieftains ruled the area. The oldest archaeological remains on Adelso, found north of Hovgarden, are grave fields and burial mounds from the Bronze Age.
That's what I'm talking about. There's some history. So we're going to be, how far away are we now? Oh, we're going the other way. Oh, we're just heading to it. That's a drag. Let's see what else we got here. Burka. On the island of Björkö, in present-day Sweden, was an important Viking Age trading center. That one doesn't want to play.
Björkö,
oh, there it goes.
Island of Björkö in present-day Sweden, was an important Viking Age trading center which handled goods from Scandinavia and Finland as well as Central and Eastern Europe and the Orient. Björkö is located in Lake Mälaren, 30 kilometers west of contemporary Stockholm, in the municipality of Ekerö. Birka was founded around AD 750 and it flourished for more than 200 years. It was abandoned circa AD 975. Around the same time Sigtuna was founded as a Christian town some 35 kilometers to the northeast.
Okay. So the next place on our... I wish I could get rid of this bottom thing. I haven't figured out how to toggle this off. We don't need that. Or, you know, it just takes up way too much space. So this next place is called Kungsor. Let's see what we can find out. Be proactive. Kungsor. They have a audio translation. Do. Start a discussion. Locality and seat of Kungsor municipality and yada yada yada. 5,452 inhabitants. Church of Kung Karl. That's it. Vast Manland. It's a municipality in Vast Manland. The best things to do in Kungsor. I'm thinking drinking's gonna be high up there. Miniature Kingdom. Oh, is this where one of the Lego companies is at? No, we're building a model railroad with famous Swedish landmarks. Layout is 100 M2 that is complete. Another, I don't know. Kung Karl's Krika. Churches and cathedrals. I don't get this one at all. Figuro Studio. Well, what are they doing? They're like, they've got their feet on these like potato mashers or I don't know that I want to know more. All right, so that was Kungsor that we just passed. And what's next? Stromsholm. So that was it back there. Let me... Now my drone is too slow. So all that right back there. This here. Probably still a part of Vast Man's Land. They need a window key on the other side. Stromsholm. Oh, they have a palace down there. Or it's around here somewhere. Locally situated in the vicinity of Hergskogen in Holsthammer Municipality, Vast Manland County. I was right. 664 inhabitants. Stromsholm Palace. 1621, Strömsholm was a center of military horse training to supply the Swedish army with horses. Since 1968, Strömsholm is home of civil horse training only. Well, that's mighty interesting. It's like we have turned, and now we're heading towards Ask Old Vicken about the Lido Nature Reservat. Ask Old Viking on a boat about the nature servat. I don't, Tito Lindo. Tito Lindo. Vacations, rental homes. Badingo is an affluent island suburb. Still part of Västmanland County, Sweden. All right, what do we got down here? Ah, the contractor. The youth club. 2 Utes. Town village. Local fish store. Oh, the herring. They're closed. Fishing charter. Okay, so I bet they do some fishing here. And is that it there? I need to have this on the other screen. Put it away over there. Push talk. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Pardon me, the drone ends up just slowly rotating over time, so. Okay. And like I said, I need to just drag it over. Stop doing this. Okay. The next town on our starboard side, Eskilstuna. Eskilstuna. So everything that's passing beneath us to the left and to the right. That mostly is Eskilstuna, Södermanland County, Sweden. It's a city and the seat of Eskilstuna Municipality, Södermanland County, Sweden. The city of Eskilstuna had 69,948 inhabitants in 2020. Total population 107,806 inhabitants in Eskilstuna municipality 2023. Eskilstuna has a large Sweden-Finn population. The town is located on the river Eskilstunan, which connects Lake Halmaren. Founded 1659. Area code plus 4616. Nearby attractions. Couldn't find any nearby attractions. Coffee shops? Oh yeah, Wayne's Coffee, Espresso House, Elsie Restaurant, and Sigma. Okay. Coming up ahead here, kind of like at where the water ends, way out there. Strangnas. It'll be a few minutes. Like I said, it's going to be at the other side of this body of water. And this area is called Strangnas. Sodermanland. Strangnas is a locality and seat of Strangnas municipality, Sodermanland County, Sweden, with 15,363 inhabitants in 2020. It is located by Lake Marlen and is the episcopal see of the Diocese of Strängnäs, one of the 13 dioceses of the Church of Sweden. Prominently located on a hilltop, Strängnäs Cathedral, built between 1291 and 1340, is an important landmark. Now, I don't know that we're going to be able to see that, but since they did point out they're on a hilltop, there's something there. So I'm going to disable the autopilot. And just at least take us down. You zigzag it down a little bit, spin in a circle. Pardon the lag. They have us down to 36 FPS with all the traffic in the air. Oh, you're having some upload problems? Well, this plane has a really good frame. I mean, she's handling the stress without redlining. We haven't really even stretched into redline. All right, so looking around right off the bat for any hilltops. There's a hilltop or a hilly area. There's a hilltop. You watch that television show Vikings that used to be on? Like when Bjorn died or something and they mounted his body on a horse and stuck it on top of a hill? You just can't bury people up on top of hills anymore these days. You know, everybody looters and they just don't respect anything today. Put him up there on his horse with all this stuff saying, hey, this was a cool dude. It'd be great if you didn't take all of his stuff. You could be related. That's a prominent structure over there, but it looks to be on flat ground. Okay. Well, it was a nice distraction. I think this is a different place. I think this might be Gorshinghold. Gorshinghold? And it did it again. Oh no. Well, looks like a nice cathedral down there, plus a little bridge. Now I'm the one scaring the locals. Reckless boy. Let's do this. I want to take a good look. Gosh darn it. Why aren't you going into drone mode, senor? Okay. Yeah, that's really pretty. That's a snapshot. Yep, that is. Control Alt print screen. Maybe not the, full photogrammetry on things, but the models are really good and they're really clean. And that building, that church building, very clean. It might look better. I think I missed downloading one thing, the European cities. I have Sweden. Okay. Now, there you go. Get me back to the cockpit. That looks great from here. All right. Course is over here. Set over there. Blaine says, I want to intercept over here. Yeah, but you're wasting time. How do you do the heading on this thing? Aha, put the heading down there. Yep, you can push it. Great. Oh, I like that. Gives you a nice little, that's it. That's exactly what we want. I want to intercept. Exactly, don't fly me at it. And then let's find out where we're at. Marifred. M-A-R-I-E. Fred. Okay, so right in front of us, Marifred is a locally situated in the Strängnäs municipality, Södermanland County, Sweden, with 7,121 inhabitants in 2023. The name is derived from that of the former Carthusian monastery in the city, Marifred. Marifred Charterhouse. Marifred Charterhouse, and means Peace of Mary. It lies roughly 50 kilometers west of Stockholm by Lake Mälaren. Let's do it again. It's not going to drone. You son of a gun. That's the cathedral right there. Oh, no. Gripsholm Castle. That's not even on our list. Control Alt. Print screen. Got it. All right, what's next? They have a lot of services here. If you're looking like a Bing Maps, you know, a lot of coffee shops, pretty hip place. The next town, it's a small one. That's this area. Just yeah. Is called Nickvarn. Oh, really? You can't put links in the chat? Somehow it didn't send. Well, that's probably the reason now why I'm understanding that people aren't posting their links in my chat. And I'm over here. Come on, do it. Post your stuff. What a dork. So I did not know. I will look into that and see what I can find out about posting links. Is there a way you can clip it so it doesn't have like the HTTPS, just like the address, and you'll have to add your own HTTP blah blah blah? Either way, I'll go over to your page. How about we just do that? Make it easy on all of us. So are we looking at the 48 minutes ago? This is Condor 2. Oh, the rope breaks during the winch launch. Emergency, Captain. Emergency. Emergency, Captain. So forces it down. Build up some speed. I heard some clicking. But you're keeping that nose down and keeping your speed up. Building more speed. I don't know if you found a thermal or know of a thermal. You're just trying to get back to the ground. Okay. Holding a stable speed. Just a bit nose down. Balanced out. Looking for the runway. Oh, you got some good speed there. Oh, yeah. Losing speed. Keeping it off your shoulder. Oh, you're close. So maybe you just drop your ballast there because you've got to get down. And if you just dive, you're going to... Yep, you did something because you dramatically slowed down. Amazing. So I'm thinking you dropped your ballast and then you put your flaps. That was... Look at that. Dramatic slowdown. Dramatic slowdown. You're slewing back and forth. You're right on the ideal speed for landing. That yellow mark, I'm guessing. Like a boss, boss. He ain't afraid of no rope. The ropes. Rope schmopes. That was wonderful. All right, where are we? We're past shores. Oh, you know what? I took it out of the autopilot. I think I'm probably miles away from the group now. It's like 30 minutes out. And we're slowing down. What's going on here? Out of fuel? Okay. Hey, speaking of emergency landings, This one I don't think we're going to be able to recover from. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. I forgot to put us back into autopilot. After zooming down to look at the thing, we were on an intercept course with a GPS, and then I was supposed to kick it back over from heading and balance us out, and I got too excited watching Henning do his thing. So, and that was cool. What a nuts situation. Speaking of gliders and recent news, this past week we've learned, week and a half, we've learned about several new gliders that are coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator soon, and it looks like if you're going to be a glider person, you're going to be really happy. Also, this is going to be the first simulator that has all of the glider runways in the world put in. The only simulator that's going to have all the glider airports put in, and they're all being built by hand. That's how much they love you glider pilots. So they're offering you a lot, and that's really, really nice. They said they've even gone out in there and they've scanned all the old equipment. They said very unusual winches and old winches and things that look like tractors and boom. Okay, we're right on. Everybody was landing. Okay, so turn the autopilot off. Bleed off some of our own speed. I thought I would be cool and try to stall us, and I just stalled us a little too much. Let me give that another shot. I didn't want to dive and build up speed. I wanted to pull up the nose, put in the flaps, and really stall us to a almost crawl. And yeah, when I finally did put us down. That's why he's the captain and I'm the rookie. I'll get it. Do 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 do. In the case you perform the oh, I see. In the case you'd perform the slip I just did, go down more quickly without gaining speed. Alrighty. Alrighty. The autopilot off. If I just take it in. This one, I mean, I was slow in turning the autopilot off. I'm not concerned now, I think, from this angle at all. A little fast, but I bet you I can lead that off this way. Maybe not. Peekaboo. I'm coming for you. Do. So yeah, another Friday fly-in complete. I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock. So we're here. All right, let's take a look around. Yeah, everybody's mulling around, having a good time. A lot of fun, folks. It's nice flying with everybody. Drottningholm Palace. Friends Arena. Stockholm. The search for herring. Let me pull Stockholm up. There's got to be stuff here. There's our plane. Secure. Did I close push dock? That's why. There we go. I think, yeah, our plane's there. Okay, so this way.
Friends Arena, also known as National Arenan, is a retractable roof multipurpose stadium in Stockholm, Sweden. Located next to the Lake Rastusjön in Solna, just north of the city centre, it is the biggest stadium in Scandinavia. Since its opening, the venue has served as Sweden's national stadium for men's football, hence its name. The main tenants of the stadium are Sweden's men's national football team and Allsvenskan football club AIK, both relocated from their previous home at the Rosunda Stadium. The venue has a total capacity of 65,000 at concerts and 50,000 seated at football matches, but the stadium can be scaled down to provide for smaller events with approximately 20,000 guests.
Putting it right next to the rail yard, that's brilliant. Move the people. Very nice. All right, then we have
Knyska Högskolan is a station on the Red Line of the Stockholm Metro, located in the districts Östermalm and Norra Djurgården, near the Royal Institute of Technology. The station was opened on the 30th of September 1973 as the northern terminus of the extension from Östermalmståg. On the 12th of January 1975, the line was extended further north to Universitetet. Knyska Högskolan metro station is connected to Stockholm East Station or Stockholms Östra, a station on the Roslagsbanan railway, and a terminal for buses towards Norrtälje and Vaxholm. The art in the station was done by Lennart Merck and features a common theme of technology, the 4 elements, and the laws of nature. Quotes from the history of science are interspersed with paintworks and sculptures such as Newton's apple, the wings of Icarus, and the 5 Platonic solids representing the classical elements, a dodecahedron, symbolizing the ether and containing the black hole of the universe, is suspended from the central ceiling. As one of the first cave stations where the walls follow the contours of the underlying bedrock, Tyska Högskolan along with nearby Stadion metro station was awarded the 1973 Casper Salin Prize.
They don't mess around with their churches, man. Everybody's got one. Every neighborhood's got a nice one. It's lovely. Very, that's interesting. Wow. Let's see if this thing, the name, what is this? Oh, this is nearby.
Royal Swedish Opera is an opera and ballet company based in Stockholm, Sweden. The building is located in the center of Sweden's capital Stockholm in the borough of Norrmalm, on the eastern side of Gustav Adolf.
This is it.
Stockholm City Hall is the building of the municipal council for the city of Stockholm in Sweden. It stands on the eastern tip of Kungsholmen Island, next to Riddarfjordens northern shore and facing the islands of Riddarholmen and Södermalm. It houses offices and conference rooms as well as ceremonial halls, and the luxury restaurant Stadskällaren. It is the venue of the Nobel Prize banquet and is one of Stockholm's major tourist attractions. Stockholm City Hall has been the location of a number of cultural productions, including the 1991 music video Fading Like a Flower by Swedish pop duo Roxette.
The Opera House is right across, so right in over here. That's probably it. I don't see anything that looks really like more grand. Well, that is probably it. But that doesn't look more Opera House. That looks more Opera House. I don't know. It could be that one. All these buildings are looking really cool right here. Let's see. No, it's saying it's that building there on the corner. That's the Opera House. I don't know why my tags aren't showing up. Across the street here, this building here, that looks amazing. Little fortress, that is...
This palace is also referred to as the Royal Palace, and it is the official residence of the Swedish monarchy.
Wow, tiny.
Classed as a museum. It is situated in Stockholm, on Stadskällaren, meaning City Island in English, and it has the Riksdag building and Stockholm Cathedral as neighboring buildings. Stockholm Palace is one of the largest palaces in the world still being used for its royal function. In 1679 construction was officially started on this palace. Originally the site contained a fortress with a core tower, built sometime in the 13th century. The motivation of having the fortress at that site was to protect and defend Lake Mälaren. During later years it was transformed into a palace in the late 16th century by King John III. In the month of May 1697,
it's some spackle up there.
The palace. This was after a great deal of rebuilding was done to the palace from 1692 to 1697. After the fire, rebuilding was done again and continued for about 63 years. The Stockholm Palace is the place of the King's office, the offices of the Royal Court of Sweden and the offices of the other members of the royal family.
Oh, I can't make out what that is. It looks like Yogi and Boo Boo. Like, you know, something going on there, like a cat. And then a little cat yelling at the big cat. I can't tell. All right. And then right behind it, or the direction we were just facing, the cathedral.
Stakyrkan is the oldest church in Stockholm. Stockholm lies
lovely.
in the centre of Stockholm in Gamla stan, between Stockholm Palace and Stortorget, the old main square of Stockholm. It was inaugurated in 1306, but construction of the church probably started in the 13th century. Inside, Stockholm still maintains much of its late medieval appearance in the form of a hall church with a vaulted ceiling supported by brick pillars. The exterior of the church is however uniformly Baroque in appearance, the result of extensive changes made in the 18th century. During the Middle Ages, it was dedicated to Saint Nicholas, but after the Reformation in Sweden it has been a Lutheran church, not formally dedicated to any saint. It currently serves as the seat of the Bishop of Stockholm within the Church of Sweden since the creation of the Diocese of Stockholm in 1942. It has been the scene of historical events on numerous occasions, and was used as a coronation church for centuries. More recently, the wedding between Crown Princess Victoria and Daniel Westling took place in the church in 2010. Military victories as well as national tragedies have been commemorated in Stockholm, and it is still used for funerals of public figures such as the writers Astrid Lindgren and Sarah Danius. The church contains several important works of art as well as elaborate furnishings, among these a late medieval sculpture of St. George and the Dragon and Vardar Solstavlen, a painting which shows one of the earliest images of Stockholm.
All right, over here is supposed to be a famous boat. Vasa or Wasa is a Swedish warship built between 1626 and 1628, but I don't see anything like that modeled here, or I'm not picking it up. Maybe that was it. Don't know. Okay, what else do we have over here?
Skansen is the first open-air museum and zoo in Sweden and is located on the island Djurgården in Stockholm, Sweden. It was opened on the 11th of October 1891 by Artur Hazelius to show the way of life in the different parts of Sweden before the industrial era. The name Skansen has also been used as a noun to refer to other open-air museums and collections of historic structures, particularly in Central and Eastern Europe.
Looks like a shipyard.
United States. For example, Old World, Wisconsin and Fairplay, Colorado. Skansen attracts more than 1.3 million visitors each year. The many exhibits over the 75-acre site include a full replica of an average 19th-century town, in which
I've heard about this place, Viking Town.
Shoemakers, silversmiths, bakers and glass blowers demonstrate their skills in period surroundings.
That's right, you get to go to Viking land. That's interesting they brought up Colorado. Fair play. All right. Looking out this way. Okay, so we got those. Or is it over here? I don't see any landmarks. Wow. Looks like a giant nuclear facility or something out here. We thought our dome was cool. Just doesn't light up, I don't think. Oh, and then there's a stadium right there. Okay, so this thing is
Ericsson Globe, originally known as Stockholm Globe Arena and commonly referred to in Swedish simply as Globen, the Globe.
Globen.
Indoor arena located in Stockholm Globe City, Johanneshof district of Stockholm.
Can't break into it.
Sweden.
That's it. That's all they're going to say about that. It's a globe. Tele2 Arena. Tele2 Arena is a retractable roof, multi-purpose stadium in Stockholm Globe City. I don't have my dice set up. We could have a game. Us versus them. Let me go get my dice generator. I've seen somebody else out there on YouTube. They're like, I'm role-playing when I'm flying. I'm like, yeah, been doing it the whole, most of the time. Let me grab a dice generator. Roll a die. Dice roller. Come on, just give me a dice roller. Roll a die. We need a 20. Roll a d20. Well, we better figure this out first. So the difficulty, the DC, right? Are we doing 5th edition? What edition are we doing now? Are we gonna do this old school? Let's see here. Let's see. How good are these people at this game? How good do you think the Swedish people are at soccer? So that's gonna determine like a difficulty challenge. So are they like superior at football, soccer? So that makes it like a 15 above average. If they're, more godly, then, 16 to 18, so our chances of winning are slim to none. Let's do a DC 15. So we've got to roll better than a 15. Do we have any special abilities? No, I suck at this game. I can't think of a special ability that I have that would help us in this situation. Not very dexterous. Try to apply. I'll give myself a +1 for. I'll attempt something like charisma. So, 14. We did it. We did it. We beat the Swedes in Stockholm. Hey, it's a dice roll. Don't take it personally. That's just the way things go. But, all right. Who's buying the herring? I am looking for some herring. Can't leave here. That was quite the kick you made. I think we owe it all to you. Cheers. Here's to your health, well-being, and prosperity. I think that does it for all the places around Stockholm that we want to look at. Folks, you live in a wonderfully beautiful place in the world. Don't go changing. You know what I mean? I think it's, everybody's like diversity. Now, don't take things the wrong way. I want everybody, like, it's a small world in Disneyland. Right? It is a small world, and it's becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. But we don't want to lose our identities. It gives us all the flavor. So, like, it's a small world in Disneyland when you take that ride, and you see all the cool styles and looks, and so yeah, try to hang on to your cultural identities. Maybe even returning to building styles, and either way, whatever, it's nice when places really stick to it. All right. So that's going to wrap it up. I need to go try to find a haunted place to visit for my show later. This is just a bonus, so I'm not giving it a number, I think. Yeah. Yeah, and we're back to friends. Friends, romance, and countrymen. I'm surprised people are still hanging out. Normally, everybody just, gotta go. Thanks. Thanks for lunch. Wow, everybody's still here. Right on, everybody's enjoying the place. All right. So thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you later. Adios.